Hi, Scott Orlin with CINEMA-Magazin, the new film coming your way. Kind of a little genre twist for you. It's called The Invisible Man, and the man who's responsible for it, Leigh Whannell.
Whannell, yeah.
Whannell. I literally thought I had it wrapped around my tongue.
Every school teacher I ever had struggled with it.
You reinvented the story a little bit because historically we've seen The Invisible Man theatrically. You kind of played with it a little. Talk about your twist.
Well, the first thing I thought when the idea of doing The Invisible Man was pitched to me was, I've got to make this scary again. I want to make it terrifying. Like, The Invisible Man's obviously an iconic character, but I think it's been a while since he was truly scary. And when I thought about how to make him scary, I realized the best way to do it was to not make the film about him at all, but to make the film about his victim. Because then the audience can put themselves in the shoes of the victim, and you spend the whole film wondering, like, is he there? Is he right there? Is he standing there? Like, you never know where he is. And that just felt to me like the best way to modernize this character.
Talk a little bit about your fun that you had with special effects, because there's footprints, there's an imprint in a cushion. There are just little subtleties in which we get a scent or a breath that we know he's there.
Yeah, I mean, we used all approaches on this film with visual effects. It wasn't like we just used CGI. We did use CGI, but not all the time. Sometimes we used practical effects that would have been used on the original Invisible Man. Like a props guy just off camera with a piece of string pulling a cup, or, I mean, we had people hidden in cupboards around the set, wearing the full green bodysuit. Like, we did anything and everything to get this illusion across of invisibility. So it was cool. It was cool to do the CGI, but it was also cool to be really old school.
And part of the special effect that you do is, while we think it's being set in San Francisco, you filmed in Australia.
Yeah, in Sydney, yeah.
What was the advantage there?
Well, being that I'm Australian, it's never hard for me to go back home and do it. The crews in Australia are amazing. So you get this like really quality, as we say in Australia, maybe we say it in the US too, but you can get champagne for a beer budget. And you can really get this talent. And also, I feel like, Sydney is a good double for San Francisco. It made sense to me that we could make that work.
I want to talk a little bit too, because obviously there's a thriller, there's a horror aspect to it, but there's also kind of a very relevant theme about abuse, about being taken seriously. I mean, in this society, if somebody came to me and said there's an invisible man here, I would think they were crazy. So how much do we believe in people?
I mean, what you're saying is exactly what I was writing towards. I think The Invisible Man is a perfect metaphor for modern day gaslighting and abuse, where someone isn't being believed. They're saying something's happened to them. I mean, just the other night I was watching one of those true crime shows that I love so much, and it was all about a woman who was trying to tell the police that this guy was stalking her ex-boyfriend, and they just weren't responding in the way. She wasn't getting the restraining orders. She was desperately trying to let people know that she was in danger, and it was too late. She didn't manage to convince anybody, and the worst happened. And so it's a thing, I think, that affects millions of women every day. And I think The Invisible Man is a good metaphor for that struggle.
Talk about your choice of Elisabeth Moss, because she's played in a myriad of so many different roles where there's a sense of vulnerability to her, and yet we feel there's strength.
Yeah, she's so great at that combination. It's uncanny how she does that. She can seem so vulnerable, but at the same time, in her eyes, you can see the warrior within. And that's why you can just put a camera on her face. Like, it's so amazing to have an actor where the best visual effect in the whole movie is a close-up of Elisabeth. Because she can say so much. We threw out pages of dialogue because we would talk to each other and she would just look at me and say, I think I can do that with my eyes. And I'd be like, fine, you don't like that soliloquy? But she can do a speech from Hamlet just with her eyes. She's incredible.
One of the more horrific scenes, and again, I don't want to give too much away to the audience, was when the two sisters are meeting for dinner.
Oh, yeah. We'll keep that one a secret, but yes.
Something kind of happens. How creative do you have to be to make all that work and sync?
Oh, it's the toughest part of the job. See, when I'm writing a film, I try to watch the movie That's what I'm doing. I'm writing the film for the audience's experience. So I'm trying to find those moments in the script where the audience will go, like, I want to take their breath away. I'm actively trying to. You know, some writers may say, I like to block out the outside world when I write, and I just write for myself. I'm the opposite. I'm the guy who writes for the audience. And so that scene was one where I just knew if I got it right, I could level the theater and just have them gasping. And the shooting of it is all just guesswork. You're on the day, I'm like thinking, am I doing this wrong? You know, I have doubts like anyone would, and you get in the edit room, you just hope that you can end up in the film with what you saw in your head back when you were writing.
He got it right. Leigh, thank you so much. The movie is called Invisible Man. This is Scott Orlin. Until next time.